Okay, we recorded these meetings, we recorded these little presentations last year, and it seemed to save us a little bit of time at board meetings. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet because I know I can get wordy. But we will go over my evaluation tool slowly. There are 8 standards, and there's a lot that goes into the superintendent position. So we're going to do 2 standards at a time so that when we get to the superintendent evaluation, we already have all the information we need in front of us. And we will save some time now so that at the board meeting, we can just ask specific questions. So I have put together a PowerPoint. I'm not going to be able to go over everything on the PowerPoint, or this would be an hour-long presentation. But I do want to dive into probably the most important standard of being a superintendent, which is to uphold the district's mission, vision, and core values. These are determined through our community, but also upheld by staff, students, and the board. And our mission statement is to we see it everywhere: develop, achieve, and succeed, help kids succeed as lifelong learners. I will say in the last 3 years as superintendent, we've seen a huge change in education, probably the biggest I have seen in my 19 years, the biggest shift, other than the COVID era. But we're coming out of the COVID era, and we have seen a lot of economic and political shifts, I think, that are filtering into our school. And we're just seeing a different type of kid and a different type of education. I think we would all agree technology has changed greatly, which has changed education. I don't want to say it's all bad, because it's definitely not. But how we're using that technology to set our kids up for success is different. You will see our core mission and vision on a lot of things, from our website to the communicator that goes out, our board agendas, and then our strategic plan. For those of you who are new and have not looked through the strategic plan, I would encourage you to. We went through a huge accreditation process last year. Every district had to go through it in the state, and it will be on a 3-year rotation. But part of that strategic plan is for us to outline what we are doing in our district and what it looks like, which is different than it has been in past years, which truthfully I am loving. I am loving kind of where we're going with education in some ways. We've also seen a decline in other ways, but it's a consistent plan based on feedback from community, board members, and staff. Just, it's the roadmap that we're following right now. And so we will spend time going over that this year and updating it so that it does truly reflect our community. The day in a superintendent's life looks different depending on the day, because it's all encompassing. Some days we're dealing with facilities, some days of budgeting, some days behavior, academics, relationships, sports, grants, after school program. Really, my philosophy as a superintendent is hands down servant leadership. Sometimes to my own default, because I really do believe that in order to understand things, you need to be here face to face, and you need to be helping and understanding and just doing what you can to support everybody. There is a lot of paperwork that gets done behind the scenes. I will tell you, part of just who I am, because I started as a teacher, is I do feel bad being a desk sitter. So sometimes it's hard to get paperwork done. Those are things I will do sometimes on weekends and evenings, just because I want to be with kids. I believe that's why I'm here. That's what I need to be doing. But it's a balance. So every day looks diverse. I will tell you, one of the things I am most proud of in this district is just the staff that we have, and how incredibly hard they work, and how they uphold the district's vision and mission statement every day in their classrooms. We do have a lot of grants that provide us with great funding. A couple years ago, we were looking at losing COVID funding and how that would affect the district, but I will tell you, everybody has been extremely gracious and just willing to work together. And we've had to find a lot of grants that will supplement these fundings, and we have. And they're the great part is they're driving our education and learning opportunities. So the greatest thing that we do at the elementary is differentiation. Our staff is absolutely phenomenal. Every grade level works together with title to meet the needs of kids. So, obviously there's a huge block of time chunked off for our reading and math lessons every day. But then there is also time for teachers to meet with title staff to offer kids individualized learning. And our special ed staff is also part of that. So kids will work in small groups every single day to get their needs met and to help them improve in reading and math. We're constantly assessing kids, looking at those assessments and providing exactly what these kids need. It's very powerful, but we know that if we don't set the stage for that early on, they can't get into other opportunities later. Moving the sixth grade up to junior high has absolutely opened a door for those kids to participate in wonderful electives. It is great for me to walk in to the junior high building and see kids on stage acting, and then be able to walk into the welding shop and see them welding. And then in Mr. Rogers' room, they're making pens and doing activities in there. So it has been really powerful to be able to see all the different learning opportunities in junior high that have been available to them, while also providing them with their core classes. Our junior high team works extremely hard to provide them with very rigorous curriculum. I've been in classrooms, and the level of questioning and comprehension activities that go on in those rooms is absolutely phenomenal. And then we get to high school, and this is where our grants come into play. Again, just our Carl Perkins and our technical things. We've seen a shift lately. I mean, it used to be everybody went to college. Now we're seeing kids look at trades and individualized learning opportunities. We've had kids be able to sit down with our academic counselor, who's Jordan Graves, and she's done a phenomenal job finding individual opportunities for kids based on their personal needs. And this has been a big, just amazing shift to see. Last year we had kids that were going to the hospital to work on nursing degrees, and those girls wrote incredible amount of scholarships to pay for them to go to college at the next level. We also had kids doing apprenticeships with the city to be linemen last year. They were able to get their CDLs, and many of them were able to go right into the workforce and are working on apprenticeships. And then we had kids that just really wanted to work on getting into jobs and have been really successful in that. So I've just seen an incredible shift to making education relevant for every individual kid. And so some of our grants, like Advanced Opportunities, Transformational Learning, Carl Perkins, those have all made that happen. We also have been able to, through Gifted and Talented, offer kids who are advanced opportunities to excel, while also making sure that we have the staffing and the time set aside for kids who are needing extra support for special ed and title. So it really varies from school to school what this looks like, but I think we've done an incredible job of meeting the individual needs of kids, which is hard to do, but we do it every day. I was just at a conference with other people from the state, and our reading and math scores are very important and very relevant. I'm really proud of our kids, our technical scores, kids that are offered opportunities in STEM classes, hands-on learning. Those are pretty phenomenal compared to other schools, especially since we live in a small town. But I think that community focus that we have comes into play, and we have a lot of businesses and people in the community just willing to take on our kids and work with them and provide them with opportunities to learn and hands-on learning experiences. We've been able to find a music teacher, which has been awesome. And through Gifted and Talented, she is working individually with some students who have that desire to improve individual skills. It's great to see her just pulling kids aside during the day. And it also works as great kind of behavior management, which is also another area where we try to individualize learning. So behavior management and counseling, this is another, outside of academics, an area that we're always working on. Our staff does get a high level of professional development. I will say that the Montana Reads Grant will provide an incredible amount of funding for curriculum, books, training for teachers, and just allow us to do some extra stuff that we weren't able to do in prior years without the grant. So we're glad to have the Montana Reads Grant back. For those of you who have not had a chance to take a look at our 10-year plan, that is also a wonderful document that outlines kind of how we review curriculum, board members rotation, enrollment, other things like that. And we will refer to that quite a bit as we go through the year. And then just kind of how we all work together to be accountable for our vision and mission statement. It's going to look different on different levels, but we all work really hard as a whole. And as you will see on tonight's, even the calendar and what is going to work best for students, staff, and how we can provide, ongoing opportunities for kids. We do a lot of testing. Most of it is dictated by the state. It seems to have gotten greater and greater. One of the things people don't know, though, is that we do follow-up with our kids. After they have left here, we are required by the state to just report on where kids are at and how they're doing. They want to know, do kids go into careers? Are they going to college? Are they, going into the military? And so we're able to follow up with families and ask some questions. It's always a pleasure when kids come back. We actually have had some students in the last couple of weeks come back to visit. And it's the reason why we teach, because we want to make a difference. And it's great to hear back from kids and be able to see where they're going and how they're doing as lifelong learners. So I was at a meeting the other day and we were talking about what is the most important thing we do for kids. Yes, we do academics. Yes, we do career prep. But I will say our community as a whole, the one thing we embrace, and I think the best thing our kids are prepared for, is those professional skills and communication skills in the real world. I would put a Troy kid against any other kid in any other community. Our kids will walk up to strangers, shake their hands, introduce themselves. They're confident. They will find a topic to talk about. Our kids have great social skills. And that's not just a school thing, that is a community thing. We are raising just very respectful and also confident adults. And that is something I think that when we were talking at this conference, it is something that will help them no matter where they go in life. To be leaders. And so I think we do. I think we raise leaders in Troy, and that's not just something the school can take credit for, but our community. And I think it's something they should be really, really proud of. So, our mission and vision statement, develop, achieve, and succeed as lifelong learners. It's something that our whole community does, and something we can be very proud of. Standard 2 is ethics and professional norms. This is something that's also all-encompassing. We tell the staff all the time we live in a fishbowl. And so, teachers are very cautious about where they go, how they're seen, because people do care. Whether or not we want to think they care, they do. But we're also trying to be visible at school events. Teachers show up for kids, and everything is really, it's why we're in the profession. We care. For administration, and myself included, I just try to be visible everywhere. I want the kids to know who I am. I want to be visible in classrooms. Kids don't even know what I do, which sometimes is maybe a good thing. They know sometimes I grade the teachers, but just trying to be everywhere and trying to set up those community opportunities when we can, and meetings with parents. We do have a very team collaboration focused norm around here. The other day, whenever anything goes wrong, I can always count on the staff to jump in, help, and they will be wherever you need them. For kids, for students, for school things, everybody just really cares about kids. But I think some of the best things we also do are education for teachers, mentorship for teachers. How do we grow our own success? We live in a small town. People talk about teacher shortages. We haven't really experienced that yet here because, number one, we have a great reputation. I've got teachers from other schools that will say, if you have an opening, let me know. We also are constantly mentoring and encouraging teachers to go back to school, to expand their credentials. to train as administration. But, you know, we try to do a lot of training within ourselves to replace people, which is also important. One of the best things we do at our school too is we know every student by name. Some of our new families moving in are like, wow, you guys know everybody. Yes, we do know everybody. And we try to get to know every student because that's important. Relationship building is important. It is the foundation of everything. You know, all the meetings we do to offer kids equal opportunities. And I will say this is just expanded, and it is something that we're proud of, like I talked about earlier. And just, you know, some of the things that we're still trying to find answers for, we always want to be community focused, but we're always trying to figure out how to get people in the door. We've tried to do more social media and online stuff for parents to make it easier. But I think we're always trying to find that answer of how do we get people more involved? How do we get them here? I think we're starting to turn a corner. We're seeing people turn up more at games, more of a community focus there. But just knowing everybody, knowing the background of the community is important, and just working as a team approach to help families. I think everybody here is really strong in that. And so I guess I will just conclude today by saying, yes, being the superintendent is amazing, but it is not something that I can do in isolation. It is backed up by everybody else who does hard work in this district, all the other administrators, the staff, everybody just pulls together in this district. It's really strong. And so I can't take credit for that. I'm proud to be a part of that though. I do think this is probably one of the strongest, best districts to work in. I do think our reputation, as we've seen, we are one of the top 10 schools for having the best teachers. That's something that we can be proud of because I do think we work hard to improve the lives of kids in so many different ways. So ethics and norms, you know, we're kid focused. We're raising good people. And I think these are things we can be really, really proud of, along with all of the events and help we get from the community. So I will finish today's presentation and then let you guys ask questions if you need to. But feel free to email, call, or we'll discuss the meeting. Thanks.